Hello. Aiden tried to go live today on Whatnot.
Yeah, whatnot.
And when we get a few people in here, I'm going to have him come over and show you some of the stuff that he built today. But here's what I was working on today. That was just something I did while he was doing his live stream.
You okay?
Oh yeah, it's just a fly. I didn't have a very good one. And it's hot. And I probably use a different set of tongs. Don't do what I do. Do what I do. So when I'm doing stuff that's going to touch food, I use food grade beeswax and mineral oil mixed together. This is a little church key bottle opener that I'm working on. I found a 203-pound Peter Wright. Yeah, they're hard. They're kind of hard. If you get one with a good face on it, it's pretty hard to find them anymore, at least out here where I'm at. So there's a little, how am I going to show you guys this without covering it up? And of course it's too hot for me to pick up with my bare hand. Okay, here we go, I can do it this way. So this is a little over-the-top church key that I just forged up. And it's just kind of a practice in punching holes. And you know your heat to do those little. There's one I did. Ooh, that one's warm too. And here's the other one I did during his live. Put his eyes out here on the front of his face. When you brush those off, and then you hit them with that oil and it gets that kind of blue tempered color, I really like that. Just a second and you can ask the apprentice how it's working out. Just a minute. I got him over here welding hat racks up. I think he might be, for some stuff, I think he's a better welder than I am. Which isn't saying much, but he's better than me. He's getting the hang of it. Aiden, you want to show these people what you've been building and where they can find you?
Yeah.
And while you're doing that, I'm going to go finish my other little thing I'm working on.
Alright. How are you guys doing? My name's Ian. I'm his new apprentice. We've been going on for about a week now. It's going pretty well. He's taught me how to make some pretty cool things. He probably just showed you, but that dragon thing, it's pretty cool. I might be hoping to learn it pretty soon. These wall hooks and these railroad spikes are some of the ones that I made. I think they look pretty good. Not quite as good as his yet, but I'm getting there. Pretty soon, I'll be able to hit up. But so you can find me up on Etsy. You can even find me on the Whatnot app. But Whatnot's kind of iffy. It's kind of going well and kind of not, you know. This right here, it's a wall. Oh, you can't see that. This is a wall hat. I think it's going pretty well. It's a pretty nice, hard to make, I think, because you have to bend it. Right here. It's a dinner bell ringer. Goes with this one. I think it looks pretty well. Works pretty well.
Yeah, show them that twisted handle.
Ta-da! Twisted handle. Come on, get on there. These wall hooks are all made by me. This hat rack made by me. This was fairly easy, but also made by me. These are all welded. Forgot your tongs?
Yeah, I got it.
These wall hooks were all made by me. Forged, welded on. I don't know. They're doing pretty well. And you got these stake turners. They're pretty good on stake turns. Yeah. So you can find me on Whatnot, the Whatnot app or website, and Etsy. The Whatnot app is kind of iffy right now, but pretty soon I have some more stuff going on. But for now, I'm going to put this back to just a normal live stream you guys can enjoy. Thank you for having thank you for your time. You guys go.
Yeah. Any questions or anybody ask anything?
I don't know what an IG is. Something with a, you guys have IG? I don't.
Instagram.
Oh.
Instagram. You probably want to get an Instagram.
Yeah.
Or something. Did you tell them where they can find your stuff?
Back to welding.
He's learning. No, he doesn't. He didn't know what IG was. Instagram. You know, that's old school stuff. That's 10 or 15 years old. But he did a pretty good job twisting on these. He's getting it down pat. You give him another couple weeks and he'll have it. We're gonna start him on some next week. He did the. I had him bend a bunch of these railroad spike hooks up. What's that? No, it's all good. Then he's been welding on these hat racks too. I think he's doing just as good as me, if not better. And then I had him welding on these, or forging on these hooks. Well, there's a little trick that takes a little special, you got to know how to do it. Of course, it takes some tools. You can't just do it with no tools, but he's getting it. He's coming along. One of these days, I'll have him doing some heads. I'll have him doing some faces. The art thing, you got to crawl before you walk. Heck, he's only 18. And to find an 18-year-old that actually wants to work and come in here. And I can set him at a task and he does it. So I'm pretty impressed. There's only half a dozen kids that I know that'd be willing to do this work. So I might consider another apprentice if I could find one. So this is the little drawer, the little bottle openers that I make. Put it over the top and then you put it. Yeah. You know, the trick is, the blacksmithing is only half the thing. You got to figure out how to market your work too, and that's not exactly easy. You know. I mean, the marketing is the hard part. Not getting screwed by everybody. Nothing goes to waste around here. We're always doing. If I move the anvil in closer to the inside of the shop, I get no internet reception. Until I get some internet in this shop. Even then, I'm not exactly sure if it's going to work. We're kind of out here in the Wild West, out here in Cody. The internet's a little sketchy out here sometimes. So, my little punches. That's a good lesson for you guys. How close to the edge of your piece can you drift a hole? Yeah, I can't go where the Wi-Fi ain't, so you guys are stuck out here a mile from my anvil. I could move it inside, but then the connection would go boop. Cody is, and the other thing is, Cody's really busy this time of year, and so they really slow down the internet for everybody. My little dragon. I have a closer up anvil. I could move the whole thing a little closer, I guess. I got an anvil sitting right here. Did you guys see the stuff that he was building?
Yeah, I made.
Did you show him? So Aiden did a bunch of these. So he had to prep the horseshoes, take the nails out of the horseshoes, straighten the horseshoes, flatten the horseshoes. Then he had to straighten the horseshoes for these, cut them, and then he had to weld them. And his welds are pretty doggone good. A horseshoe's not the easiest thing to weld on. Yeah, it might look like a water buffalo. Whatever. It is what it is. Whatever you guys like it to be is what it is. It was just I was messing around for Aiden's live stream and I did it. What else did I have him forging? Oh, he did these ones too. So some of his hooks aren't exact, but he's getting there. He'll figure it out. This was his first day. I might have him maybe do some of these little horse heads next week. We're going to work on some railroad spike knives. We got a bunch of stuff. That's one thing about being in here is there's no shortage. I got one of the moose that you did. I'm going to go show him that. That's about the coolest thing. So I showed him how to lay out the horseshoes. That's the moose. So we had to forge the eye stuff out. His googly eyes. He really does look like Bullwinkle with those eyes. His welt's pretty good. I mean, look at his welts. His welts are pretty damn good. I'm impressed. Yeah, not too bad, huh? Pretty good. So what the plan is here is I've got a whole bunch of products that I don't put on my Etsy store. And we were looking at maybe trying to find another app that we could use, and so we're going to try this Whatnot app. So Aiden started a shop on Whatnot, and we're going to try to we might even try to do some live auctions on there for him. Of course, I'm on the Etsy store, but some of this stuff I don't sell on the Etsy store, like all of the Dutch oven tools. I don't really sell much of that stuff on the Etsy. Yeah. Well, we're just getting set up. I did a live stream the other night on there, but I don't really have much in the shop yet. So we're going to try. I might just leave that to Aiden to try that. So he's already got about a half a dozen products. He's just got to get his shop started up. So, and then next week you're going to be forging some of these steak turners. The steak turners. So next week I'm going to teach him how to do the steak turners. Maybe even this weekend. We'll see how far we get. But we got a ton of stuff that we could do. And then, I do a couple of different styles of drawer pulls, and I thought, well, heck, I don't want to do 5 different kinds of drawer pulls, so I'm going to teach Aiden how to do a few of these different kinds of drawer pulls, and then I'm going to let him put some on his Whatnot app. So I'm going to let him do these ones, and I got a couple other designs that I'm going to let him do, and then I'll still do the ones, all the ones that I'm kind of known for. Yeah, I didn't actually see any blacksmiths on Whatnot at all. I kind of like the app. I don't know if we had a little trouble going live on there today, so I don't know if they had if it was just a hiccup today, or maybe they don't have the app worked out yet. I don't know. I got a buddy who sells a lot of comic books and stuff on there, and he seems to have pretty good luck. Good. Thanks, appreciate that. Well, if we could do this kind of a live stream like we do on here on that app for him, that would be great. And I think we're probably going to do some kind of different cutouts for Aiden too. We're going to do some different ones for him to do wall hooks different than the ones I do. All mine are Western, and so we're going to go through some ideas, and I think we'll probably see what Aiden can come up with, what he wants to do, as far as like the black plates for like the toilet paper holders and stuff. So I'm going to set him up with a whole shop. That's the whole point of this deal, is to get somebody to do some of this stuff. And I think, do you feel like it's a good deal for you once we get started here, what you got going on here?
Yeah. It's a lot better than what most other places would do.
Yeah. Any other apprenticeship, you're going to pay for an apprenticeship, or if you're an intern, you're not going to make no money. I'm going to set him up so he can, so he's going to be able to make stuff every day that he can sell himself. And so as soon as we get his channel where he's got a few followers and he's actually selling some stuff, he's off and running. He's only been here a week. So, so he could definitely, and I don't know, I might let him we'll see what happens here this summer, how busy I get, but I might let him take over the art league gig. We'll see what happens. Cool, that's good. Do you have much luck selling on there, on the whatnot? You know, like some of this stuff is. Well, if I get back on there for this live stream, I'll follow you and watch yours. So, you know, like this stuff is the kind of my bread and butter, these wall hooks downtown. And I sell a few of them on the Etsy store, but these are really the thing that the tourists like. All the little stuff is what the tourists like to take home with them. So. And I used to sell a lot of these on the Etsy store, these horse face hoof picks. And I do bottle openers like this too. In fact, that's what I was going to work on tonight. I was going to do a few more of these. So. Yeah, see, I don't sell. I try. It's been my experience that if I try to sell edge stuff online, like on Etsy, it's like they dial it back and don't show them to people. Like I do tons of railroad spike knives and horseshoe knives, but you know I can't show you a knife on here. They'll block the stream off if I get one to show you. So now I can show you one of the axes I built. You know, and I've done that in past live streams. Like there's some of the axes. Some of those I've built and some of them aren't. Well, we're going to find out because I'm gonna have Aiden. He's going to be doing some of that stuff, and we're going to try to do that. So on there. So, but you know, one of the things that I like, one of the things that I've really been trying to push locally is these. Now I do like this one's got a different backplate on it. So they don't have to be horseshoes, and you can't have a real gun. So I had my buddy across the street cut me out these for display. But and I use what I sell. So I've got 4 or 5 of these in the shop that I use for my own personal guns, just like with these hat racks. You know, I built these for myself for years before I ever started selling them. They sure do work good. So, how's everybody doing tonight? It's kind of a cool, nice night. It was hot yesterday, but it ain't so bad here in town today. You know what I might do on here? I don't make a habit of doing this, but I'm going to go get one of the rabbits that's done, and I'm going to show it on here. This is one of those things that I don't show because I don't want anybody copying me. But I've done. I'm going to go get one and I'm going to show it to you. So stand by for a second. No, not tonight. They're all ready to go in the tumbler. That's the rabbit. That's a jackrabbit. That's a jackalope. So there's the rabbit. Please don't copy him. That's why I don't show him on here, because I got so many blacksmiths that follow me on here. And it's just human nature, you know, to go, oh, I want to try to build one of those. And so some stuff I don't show because I don't really want it copied. Of course, these are, so one of these days we're going to come up with something other than this. So this is my wall hook. This is one of my favorite wall hooks that I build. And if I ever get a house, I'm building, this is what I'm going to use. You, Chuck. That's good. So, but the little horse faces. But we're going to do, Aiden's going to come up with something like this.
What?
One of these days you're going to be building something like this, something other than a horse face. We're going to come up with something else for you to do.
I'll start thinking on something.
Yeah. Start watching YouTube videos. That's what everybody else does. Well, yeah, that's quite challenging. And of course, you got to come up with you got to do the punches for his eyes and his nose, and then boy, that's some work there. But he turned out pretty good. I'm pretty happy with him. I've not had any luck selling these, but I think if you had these right, you could absolutely sell these.
Oh yeah. Like at with the Renaissance Fair.
Yeah.
Is it the Renaissance Fair you're going to, or is it something different here?
I was supposed to go to the Renaissance Fair, but the girlfriend decided she was going to take her girlfriends to the Renaissance Fair. So here's I did a few of these, and I kind of sold them, and I didn't really sell them. I didn't push them. I had them on the Etsy store. I didn't. But this is one of the things that's going to, I think Aiden, if he wants to try them, I'm going to give him the opportunity to build a few of these. I've got a whole series of stuff that we could sell on the Etsy store, or on the whatnot for Aiden. Yeah, John. So who do you think, other than Steele, whatever his name is, who are your favorite blacksmiths on YouTube? You know, Switzer, I think Switzer's probably, he's the most prolific. He probably does more long form videos than any other blacksmiths on YouTube. And then I probably do more short stuff than anybody. But as far as favorite blacksmiths, who's your favorites? Meanwhile, while you're thinking about that, here's a little tomahawk I made with some Osage orange handle in it. Look at the figure in that handle. Cute. Little mini hawk, little mouse hawk. Kind of like it. I don't know if it's traditional or not, but it's cool. And then here's kind of, I don't know, Viking something.
Scientist team, they're able to create artificial light. They stick a rocket with a bunch of copper wire and they shoot it up in a storm cloud. We get some pretty good thunder, so if you want to show that, you can probably show people how to do that, or how to idea or not, I don't know.
I think we ought to shoot an anvil one of these days if we don't get kicked off of YouTube for it. There's a little mouse hawk I did a while back, little forged one. Sharpened Forge is one I enjoy a lot. See, I don't even know him. He don't even come up in my stream. So, yeah, John's, you know, he spent the money on the good lights. I mean, he's pretty much turned his blacksmith shop at this point into a studio. And so I would love to get there at some point, but the short videos, the short form videos don't pay nothing. So I'd have to do bazillions of them. So there's another little mouse hawk. Oh, I showed you that one. And then Here's the one made out of the rifle barrel that I'm working on. But I got to order some. Yeah, he does beautiful axes. And then there's that kid that does the axes. Man, and his filming is gorgeous too. All the guys that I used to follow, they don't do videos anymore. Brian, can't think of what his name is. But all of those guys kind of aged out. They're not doing any anymore. So anyway, I got to get some better handles for these, because this handle's too. I cut it off for another tomahawk I did, so I still got some work to do on that one, but it turned out pretty good. That was kind of a proof of concept. I wanted to see if I could do one. I saw one at the Cody Museum a while back in Brazil. Yeah, Brian Brazil. Yeah, and then there's another guy too that he kind of started doing some years ago, and he hasn't done any. I haven't seen anything on his channel at all. And then there's the Dirty Smith guy that was over in, was he in Steamboat or somewhere? I see he just started his channel back up. Brian, I think he re-uploaded a bunch of his videos. I don't think he's done any new videos. I think he's just reloaded up a bunch of his old videos. And he's got some good techniques. I use a lot of his techniques when I'm drawing out and stuff. I followed him 10 or 12 years ago on YouTube. So. Smoke the peace pipe.
Sorry.
What's that?
Do you want me to set the forge up? I was going to practice some more of those beams. That's all right.
Sure, go ahead if you want to. Do you got more stock there? Did you find some stock to use?
Some scrap ones.
Cool, perfect. That's hot, so watch out.
Yeah.
You can take them railroad spikes out of there if you want to. I was going to maybe work on some railroad spikes this afternoon, but
Oh, okay.
no, it's all right. Go ahead and do your thing.
Okay.
So maybe one of you guys can tell me this. Back when I was in farrier school, we used to do like a storyboard where we'd break down all the individual things that you had to do to build a horseshoe, and we'd do different sections in a different piece of shoe, and then it'd be like a trainer, so you could see. Well, I did it for Aiden a couple of days ago. With the leaves. Yeah, the new video quality. See, I've been so busy I haven't had a chance to watch much YouTube lately. But I was wondering what they call that. A key, right? It's called a progression key or a progress board or a storyboard. I don't know. What the heck do they call that when you do that? So I got the boy back there. He's going to try to do some leaves. He did some leaves the other day, and your first leaves always end up being this long. And of course, I'm always trying to get my leaves as short as I can because I want them to look like an aspen leaf. Storyboard. Yeah, I don't know. The guys over at Championship Blacksmith, I just happened to see a video, I don't know, a week or two ago, and they had one made up for doing a French heel horseshoe. And they had them all wired together, and I was like, that's cool. I'm going to do that. I'm going to do that with the leaves, but so you guys want me to walk you through this? So of course you got to prep your stock. So I always round up my stock so you don't end up with that split ends at the end of it. And then of course I like a nice narrow draw down, like that. Nice and steep. I hang it over the far face of the anvil so I can get it nice and steep like that. And then the next one is you knock your shoulders in. That. So you hang off of the far side of your anvil. You do a half-faced blow on two sides, and you end up with that. Okay, and then from there you go. So you had 4 sides, then you have 8 sides. So you knock your corners down and you end up with 8 sides, like that. And then you knock your 8 sides down and you do plantishing blows. So you let your material get about half cooled off, and that way you're not moving as much material, and that really makes a difference when you're doing this small stuff like this. And so then you do plantishing blows, and that's what you get there. Okay, so the plantishing blows. So I do these leaves 2 different ways. I will set the mass of the leaf on the anvil face and hit them like that, or sometimes I'll do them the other way and I'll put the mass up. And if you do mass down, you end up with a leaf blank that looks like this. Okay. So that leaf is you still end up with a leaf that's fairly long. So a lot of times what I do, of course, and then I'll vein it like that. And then a lot of times what I'll do, if I want a stubbier leaf, I don't want it so long, what I'll do is I'll take the side of this leaf, one side or the other, and I'll take a chisel and I'll just nip it off. I'll just cut it off and make the point back shorter. So that's your basic leaf. A lot of guys just stop right there. They don't go any farther than that. I'm never satisfied unless my leaf is 3-dimensional. So you can see this one, I kind of nipped it off, and you can tell because my vein doesn't run up through the center of my leaf. And then I sculpt mine out. I use a ball peen hammer and a piece of wood, and I sculpt mine out. And that's how I end up with that. So I'm going to do a storyboard or a set of story keys, progress keys, whatever you guys call them. I'm going to do that with those. And I'm going to put them on a ring. I'm going to make a wire ring, and I'm going to put them on there. And you know what I might do? I might build that, and then I might sell it, just because it's cool. Like, have you ever seen one for sale? So, yeah, I might, after I get it done, I might sell it. We'll see what happens. Yeah, I use an actual board. We did boards for horseshoes, but it was only for finished shoes. You did a progress of all the different shoes you did. But what's his name? Craig Taka, is that his name? From Championship Blacksmiths? I guess I'm going to have to go back and do a little research and see if I can find it. Or maybe somebody will come up with what they're called. I did a video this morning. All right, well, we're going to try this. It probably ain't going to work, but we're going to try it. This is probably going to kick us off. Yeah, World Champion Blacksmith, that's the horseshoers, the farriers. So you're way out of heat there. Don't hit that. There's only 2 things you'll go to hell for. Not charging enough and hitting cold steel. If the color's out of it, quit hitting it. Put it back in the torch. Some of those are very small. You're going to have a heck of a time trying to make a leaf with that 1/4 inch round.
I just grabbed whatever was over there.
Let's see what I got here. That 1/4 inch is a little too small to be making leaves with.
All right, do you want me to take those out the first thing?
Just a second. I'll get you some stuff. You're going to have to use paper towels. You're going to have to use that set of store-bought towels. That one's already got started on. It's the end of the nail. Use that one. Started. Give me a good way to. I'll see if I can't find some across. There's some right here. I sure got some. See, that's 1/2 inch. size. That's what she said? Is that what you said? I tried to be a member of a band, and what I found out is I don't play well with others. Remember square. You're going to run that down square first. You're not going to try to round it. You're going to draw it down on four sides. Zip, zip.
Oh, okay. Yeah, I had no idea how you would make it.
Yeah.
I would just try to
Yeah. We never taper anything. We never draw anything out. Try to draw it out round. You draw it out on the flats first, and then you knock the corners down to make it round. Because you'll be fiddling around with that for an hour trying to get that right. So you're just going to draw it down square first. There you go. Yeah, I left that out of the story.
Yeah, something like that. Square.
Yep. You're doing stuff that you didn't prep the ends of it, so you're going to get a wonky end on the end of your leaf because you want to make sure that the heat of your material is hot all the way through. Because of that forge, what will happen is the outside will be hot and the inside will be cool, so the outside of the material will move a lot faster than the inside of the material. So if you're having a hard time, don't use the face of your anvil. Come right over here and use the flat spot on the round here. That way you can reach over your work. So what happens if you're trying to do this out here is you're going to hit the edge of this hammer on the face of the anvil. So that's generally why I use a longer piece, so that way I can get out here. Now, see how the edge of my hammer overruns my anvil face? Well, you can do the same. If you have a short piece, you can do the same thing here. Flat, 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 flat. Because you're just messing up the edge of your anvil and your hammer if you do that. And like I said, those are pretty short pieces, but that's what we got. So I guess I could cut some longer ones for you. It's not like it's expensive. Yeah, there you go. So keep your work supported. Keep your hammer not supported. I'm going to put him on a big hammer, and we're going to teach him how to swing a hammer hard. We can't go on the inside of the building. Yeah, he's learning. Yeah, the inside of this building, it's like a Faraday cage. This whole building is like a Faraday cage. It doesn't work very good for trying to do anything. All right, well, I'm going to get off a little bit. We'll just let this young guy struggle with this a little bit. You guys have an evening. I'm going to go over to Whatnot and do a little research. Get hot and headed. Always wear your safety squints. If you like the content, you know what to do. Like, follow, go over to the Cody Iron Works Etsy store and share some love. Go to Aiden's and share some love. I won't let him burn the food. All right, we'll talk to you guys later.